Hi, welcome to Frights and Sprites. I've just seen Malum, the 2023 remake of Last Shift from 2014, and I'm here to give you my first view review of the film. I will be talking about both movies in this review, but I'm going to make the video spoiler free. Stick around to the end of the video to see my thoughts and ratings for this film, and also for a preview of my next video. Malum is a 2023 American supernatural horror film set in a condemned police station on the last night of service. It was directed by Anthony DiBlasi, who also directed Last Shift. DiBlasi's had a fairly interesting career so far. Following an internship with Marvel Studios in Los Angeles, he began working on projects as a producer for horror legend Clive Barker. DiBlasi was an executive producer on Midnight Meat Train and Book of Blood, both based on the writings of Clive Barker, before making his directorial debut with Dread in 2009. Since then, he's been steadily producing middle-of-the-road horror features. Malum is a retelling, or reimagining if you like, of Last Shift from 2014. I remember enjoying Last Shift and being quite moved by how dark and nasty it got towards the end, so I was pretty hyped for this remake. The film stars Jessica Sula as Jessica Lauren, a rookie cop who requests her first deployment is the last shift at the old Lanford station before it's closed down. The reason she makes this rather odd request is that this particular building has ties to her father, who was also a cop. As the night presses on, things get progressively weirder, and Officer Lauren is left to question her own judgment about what is actually real. The movie starts a year prior to the main story. We get some world building that includes a look at a local murderous cult and the officers that raided the compound. In doing so, they manage to save some young women who were there to be sacrificed in some demon worshipping ceremony. Later, back at home base, Officer Will Lawrence seems particularly haunted by what happened with the cult. Despite the plaudits he gets for being the hero of the day, something about this cult has really gotten under his skin. Then a jump forward 12 months, the old station is being shut down as a shiny new police station is up and running. Officer Jessica Lauren, Will's daughter, requested to be present for the last shift before the place is decommissioned. Looks like she wants to follow in her father's footsteps and work the same beat that he did. Even if this is a basic solo posting with the only responsibilities being to catch any phone calls that haven't been rerouted to the new call centre and move people onto the new station if they turn up at the old building. Upon arriving at the station, Officer Lauren gets a rather brusque briefing from the cop who is on the day shift. The one rule basically is stay out of the holding area. So after almost immediately going to the holding area, odd things start to happen. In between dealing with stragglers who turn up at the station, Jessica hears noises coming from the depths of the station and starts seeing things in the dark corners. On top of this, she has to deal with prank phone calls and acts of intimidation from the local death cult who are marking the 1-year anniversary of their compound getting raided by making life hell for the local police.
Lanford Police Department. Hello?
Hello, little piggy.
As the night wears on, Jessica is subjected to a number of supernatural nightmares and begins to learn new things not only about her father and her mother, but also the death cult that's operating in the area, eventually leading her and us to question this reality. Overall, the story is pretty basic. It's essentially Last Shift with some extra plot points. I may be wandering into spoiler territory with this, but if you've seen Last Shift, you've seen Malum. Some audiences may enjoy the added detail, but strangely enough for me, it just felt like bloat. Malum clocks in around 90 minutes, and normally this is where I would celebrate, but in all honesty, this was a really long 90 minutes. This is weird because the film isn't particularly slow. As Jessica's night plays out, she meets people along the way, and one issue leads her to another. However, the lack of agency for the officer really made the story feel plodding and aimless. In addition to this, the heavy reliance on jump scares really dragged things down. On a personal note, I'm sure another issue that contributes to the poor pacing is that I've seen the original film. This almost felt like a shot-for-shot remake, albeit one with a better budget, and that's part of the problem. Last Shift was only 9 years ago. Horror fans will have seen it, and some of them will still remember the plot quite well. This new film should be able to stand on its own as an entertaining watch, and not simply be enjoyable on the condition that you've seen the precursor. On a positive note, I can say that Malum was shot well. The camera work is basic but clean and composed. It's true that there are too many copy-paste scares, but they are all well presented. In keeping with the other technical wins, the sound is great. Despite some basic choices for the score, the rest of the soundscape helps to create a wonderfully creepy atmosphere. I was watching this movie with noise-cancelling headphones and it was awesome. In particular, hearing whispering right over my shoulder during a tent scene went a really long way to bring me back in when I started clock watching and waiting for the film to end. Again, with special effects and makeup, we have a mixed bag. Some of the demon designs are excellent, such as the sack-headed demons you may have seen in the promotional material, whereas others look a little bit underdone, almost like they were unfinished or just lit poorly. As the film builds to the climax, we see a lot more examples of this inspired design butting right up against some questionable choices. Oh lordy, the acting is a really mixed bag. The whole film has a strange pattern of realistic and entertaining performances clashing directly up against over-the-top and pretty wooden line deliveries. A number of characters seem to have rather bizarre motivations and behaviours, and there are moments where I'm left scratching my head over the things that Jessica does. I know that characters need to take certain actions to make the plot progress, and that she's a rookie cop, but god damn does she do some stupid things at times. Now in some cases, the off-kilter performances work to help keep the audience in the dark as to whether the things we are seeing are real. And this is used to pull the rug out from under Jessica when she thinks she's in moments of safety. But in other scenes, I just feel like the actors weren't reined in to do another take. Malum is a really interesting beast, and it's one that I wish I could be more positive about. Compared to The Last Shift, there are some technical improvements, and we see evidence of a filmmaking team that has developed better techniques over the last 9 years. However, for me it left almost no impression, and worst of all, it wasn't particularly scary. Sure, you can make me jump out of my skin for an hour and a half with loud noises and jump scares, but when the film's over and I've turned it off, I'm not looking into dark corners and being frightened of what I think I can see. I think there is talent in this production, but it's hidden behind a lot of really bad implementation. Malum has definitely benefited from an increased budget and knowledge base, but for me it trails behind Last Shift. Towards the end of Last Shift, I was really uneasy and feared for the main character. Here I was just simply bored. With this remake, there were some big indie shoes to fill, and unfortunately for me, Malum falls short. I give this movie 4 crazy death cultists out of 10. If you ever find yourself dragging a person into a haunted holding cell by yourself at night, remember to prop open the door. Thanks for watching this review. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what movie, old or new, you would like me to review next. Also, you can check the recommendations for more dark content from Frights and Sprites. Thanks and stay spooky. Ten things I love about Terrifier. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll be hitting you with some facts and opinions relating to this crazy 2016 cult classic, so spoiler warning up front. If you're a horror fan and haven't seen this yet, quickly like this video, go watch Terrifier and come back here. Terrifier is a grim indie horror gem released in 2016. The film is the brainchild of Damien Leone. Not only is he the writer and director, but also a makeup and special effects artist too. The film stars Jenna Cannell, Samantha Scafidi and David Howard Thornton as Tara, Victoria and Art the Clown.